Alright boys, do we have a video for you today? So actually the game is still in maintenance. You can see right here we still got about like 2 hours left in maintenance, but I want to show you guys something real quick. So if you guys don't know, you can actually check the info section on Grand Summoners and see the news, and this just got posted. This will probably be up to as soon as the game goes live as well. Goblin Slayer is coming to Global Grand Summoners. A lot of veteran players thought this wasn't going to come for the simple fact of licensing issues. We really thought this wasn't going to come, but it seems like Crunchyroll and everybody else was able to work, or Crunchyroll and Next Engine, everything was able to work something out with the publisher of Goblin Slayer, and was able to get, the anime crossover to happen. Now I want to say this real quick. This is not one of the crossovers that were in the most voted and all that type of stuff. That will probably be after this crossover, whenever we start seeing whatever one we get, you know what I mean? So yeah, so Goblin Slayer, they actually don't tell you too much, I don't think. It just tells you the crossover is coming, starts June 2019, 6/6, it starts at midnight on 6/6, and it doesn't end till 7/31, which is about, what is that, like almost like, a little bit of a month, kind of, not really. I think it's like 20 something days, which is good. Actually no, that is a little bit over a month. That's actually like almost 2 months, I feel like, to an extent. Yeah, what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's like a little bit, that's almost 2 months, a little bit over 2 months, a little bit over a month. So that's pretty good. I hope it doesn't get too extended. I would probably prefer, if it does get extended, only one extension, and even then I wouldn't really like it. I would just more so like a shop reset than anything. So yeah, so you can see right here, we're going to be covering everything that this crossover has to offer, the equipment, the units, and everything, because we all have that on the Japanese version of the game already. So what do we have? So we have day one for logins. This is the crossover countdown. This should start literally as soon as maintenance gets done. This is when this will start, during the daily reset, today, at the time of recording this. So day one, we get 10 crystals. Day two, we get a rainbow dragon, which is used to, awaken units into awoken 5 stars. Day three, we get 10 crystals. Day four, we get 15 awoken souls. Day five, we get 500 alch. Day six, 10 crystals, and day 7 a unit LB stone. I would have liked one of those to be a rainbow gem. I'm gonna keep it a whole B, but it is what it is. So that is gonna be that, and right here you can see prepare for the brutal dungeon, explore how Goblin Slayer, Priestess, and High Elf Archer execute flawless strategies in brutal dungeons. Learn more about the man behind the armored mask and how he deals with vengeance. Watch Goblin Slayer on the Crunchyroll mobile app. So you can see right here, it's just a bunch of Goblin Slayer ads and everything. So real quick, I want to say this, if you're looking forward to Goblin Slayer is an extremely good unit. He is going to get the most use out of raids. He is not the best raid unit though, but he is an extremely strong raid unit. He's going to be the first Berserker unit that we are introduced to in global GS, and in GS in general, he is the first Berserker unit. And what I mean by Berserker unit is that the more he attacks, like the stronger he gets, to the point to where he can stack his stuff infinitely. So literally, his true art, if you guys don't know, is able to stack art gen indefinitely, which is ridiculous. So you can pretty much only have one art genner with him, and then he's going to stack art gen indefinitely and going to constantly spam his true arts and all that. It's going to be ridiculous for you. Priestess is the best one out of this batch though. She is extremely strong. She actually is able to put up a barrier that is bigger than Thetis' barrier, which is ridiculous. Then High Elf Archer is probably the weakest one out of all this, but still a very solid, good unit. She is able to give everyone 100% crit chance on her true art. I think she gives everyone 20% evasion as well on her true art. But yeah, we're going to look at everything right now and tell you what everything does. So let's get over to the website. So let's go ahead and cover Goblin Slayer first. I'm pretty sure he is probably the biggest one that everyone wants to know. Also, we will be covering the equipment, not the event equips, because I'm not for sure which ones those are, but we're going to be covering this, and we're going to be covering the gacha equipments if I can find them. So yeah, so this is Goblin Slayer Awoken. His skill is 1100% dark physical damage. Each time you use the skill, its own, or increase your own damage, break power, and break power by 50%, or up to 50%, so I guess it's 10%, I'm pretty sure, every single time you use it, up to a maximum of 50%, which is pretty strong, because, that's never a bad thing at all. It does have a really low multiplier, though. Most times skill has, around, maybe 2k, sometimes at least, or around 2k. This is a very low multiplier, but it's probably just because he has the attack, or the own damage up, and the break power up on the skill as well. 1200 break, by the way. His normal art is water physical damage, 13,800%, wait, is water physical damage? Yeah, water physical damage, 13,800% water physical damage, 10 seconds, enemy break resist, 25% down, damage 20% up. Pretty solid debuff right there, and pretty solid, damage buff. I think the damage buff is only to himself, though. I don't know if that's to everybody on his team. And then his true art is dark physical damage of 36,000%, which is very strong. At the time of righteousness, which is, I guess, at the time of using his true art, the damage and break power up based on how much HP you have remaining. So the lower your HP, the more damage and break power you'll get with his true art, up to a maximum of 150%, which is absolutely ridiculous. So the less HP you have as Goblin Slayer, the more damage you're going to deal. Also, once you do this, 60-second own art gauge 2 up, and this stacks indefinitely. This is not a glitch or anything, it literally will stack indefinitely, to the point to where Goblin Slayer can get a ridiculous amount of art gen. As you can see right here, his abilities complement him very well in the sense that he has Revenge level 4 at the time, or when at critical HP, you get 4 art gauge a second, which is ridiculous. Not only that, whenever you hit level 90 with him as well, you get damage against demons 50% up, which is pretty strong to do. But that right there is ridiculous because you gotta think, you're gonna be spamming his true art, right, to get the art gauge 2 up all the time. So, and then once your HP falls below that, you're gonna get even 4 art gauge, and then literally you're just gonna be spamming art gauge. If you have not seen Jin's video, Jin actually made a video about Goblin Slayer, and I think Jin got around to 35 art gauge a second on him or something crazy like that. It was ridiculous the amount of art gen that she was able to get on him. So I definitely recommend checking out that video if you haven't yet. I'll probably link it down below in the description if I don't forget. So yeah, if I forget, somebody say in the comments that I did. But still, literally, that is absolutely ridiculous. Absurd amount of art gen. He is one of probably the strong. He probably is one of the stronger raid units we have, especially for Mono Dark specifically. But yeah, he's gonna be ridiculous. Also, if I didn't say too, he's a dark unit and he is a human. So yeah, and also he's that's pretty much it, I think, for everything about him. Oh yeah, his slots, of course. 5-star physical, 5-star defense, and 4-star physical. Me personally, 5-star physical is pretty nice. 5-star defense, I would have kind of liked this to maybe be 5-star support. That would have been really good on him, probably almost OP. And then 4-star physical is decent. I would have liked that to be 4-star support instead, because you could use something like, I would like that to, yeah, I would like all of his, it would have been fine if it was 5-star defense, or no, 5-star physical, 5-star defense, and then 4-star support. That way you can have an art gen item on him as well. But it is what it is. It's decent. His slots are pretty decent. And yeah, that is Goblin Slayer. Let's look at, I think Priestess is next. So here's Priestess, Awoken Priestess. Let's cover her real quick. So her skill is you heal all allies HP by 500 with her skill. That's it. It's a heal. That's it. 10-second cooldown. Her normal art is 8,800% light magic damage. You will make the enemy blind with a high probability, and art gauge 25 to all allies. So you get art gauge to everybody 25 up, and then you have a high chance to blind the enemy. Pretty strong. And then her true art is a total of 6,500 damage will be how do I want to say this? Because this is freaking translated by Google. Okay, so 6,500 damage will be negated for all allies for 30 seconds. Own skill CT, speed, recovery amount, or recovery effect amount 100% up. Now you may read that and you may be like, what the heck? That's trash. It's not for all allies. It's per ally. So 6.5k damage mitigation, or damage negation, I guess you could say, times 4 allies for 30 seconds. That is a bigger barrier than Thetis' true art, which is kind of absurd in my personal opinion. And once you get this, you will increase your own skill CT and recovery amount by 100%. So instead, that would be double heals on his skill and all that. So instead, you'll be healing everyone's HP by 1,000, which is ridiculous on a 10-second cooldown. That's absurd. And then also with her normal art, you're going to be giving everybody still 25 art gauge, which is very, very strong. Her true art doesn't do any damage, but that's fine. It's just there to negate a ton of damage, which is really good. If you guys didn't get Thetis, this is probably the girl that you want, because she's going to help you a ton late game. Because literally, she has a normal art, which is literally 25 art gauge up. Really strong, and also the enemy blind too. That's really good. And then her true art as well, able to negate a ton of damage. I think it's around, Thetis' barrier is 25k. I think hers goes up to 30 something k. So yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. Also, her skills are poison resistance level 5, poison time reduction 50% up, and then poison avoidance rate 50% up, and then maiden of the mother god, I guess that's what it is. Own art gauge 2 up naturally, and then maximum HP 10% up of the entire group. So all allies get a max HP buff of 10%, and then also she will naturally raise her art gauge by 2, and then her equipment slots are pretty good, really good actually for what she does. 5-star heal, 5-star support, and 4-star support. That's very, very solid solid 5-star support. You put something like Malim's Clothes or the new item that will be coming with her from the gacha. You can put that on her, which I'll tell you what that is in just a second. 4-star support, Arctic Knight, of course, probably one of the best, if not the best 4-star support item in this game. 5-star heal could be a multitude of items. If you're using it on Mono Light, however, that's a Light Relic Tin Cane right there. So yeah, that is what she does. She is extremely strong. Let's cover High Elf Archer, and then we'll talk about the equipment. So here is Awoken High Elf Archer. She is actually a very good unit, very sleeper unit. I know a lot of people probably overlook her and probably be somewhat upset whenever they get her, but she is a really good unit. She really is. Especially for Mono Earth, she is very, very solid. So let's look at what she does. So her skill is 1800% Earth physical damage, enemy attack power 20% down for 5 seconds, break force 800, normal art is Leave It To Me, 14,500% Earth physical damage, stun the enemy with probability. I think that means a chance to feint the enemy with the probability. Physical resistance 30% down to the enemy who has been feinted in this art for 10 seconds. So yeah, if you feint the enemy, you will reduce their physical resistance by 30%, which is pretty solid, but it has to be done with that art, which is kind of trash because you could use other units that could have a feint with it, but that's kind of sucky that it's only with her art. You have to feint it with her normal art in order to get that 30% down. And then her true art is 32,000% Earth physical damage, 12 seconds, 100% crit rate for all allies, 20% evasion rate, break force 3,500, which is very, very good. This is actually really good on Mono Earth. The reason for that is because, for example, let's say you're not using Rivi, right? Let's say you're not using Rivi and your team consists of Earth Mirror, Norn, Finn, High Elf Archer. That actually is pretty solid because her slots are actually really good too. But dude, that's pretty solid because that means that you give 100% crit rate to everyone. That means that Earth Mirror no longer has to use her normal art. She could just constantly spam her true art. Finn's going to do a ton of damage with his true art, and Norn's going to do a ton of damage with her true art. Of course, we'll get Norn sometime, hopefully soon, whenever she comes out. So yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Also, now on top of that as well, she has Deadly Blow level 5, 50% crit damage up, which is really good. Then also she has her own thing at level 90, own evasion rate 10% up, accuracy buff 30%. So she has a accuracy buff to herself that increases her accuracy by 30%, which is very, very strong. This unit is actually pretty solid overall. Her normal art is the only drawing back factor for me personally. Everything else though I like about her. It would have been nice though that her true art would have maybe gave, instead of evasion, maybe accuracy instead, because that would be a very, very good thing for people who don't have the monocle from the Finn event. If they get this unit, they are able to do some of the Crest Palaces because they no longer have to deal with the evasion, so that would have been good too. But it is what it is. And then of course her equipment is actually really solid as well. She has 5-star physical, 5-star support, 4-star physical. Pretty good. For me personally, the optimal thing that I'd probably say for her, or I don't even know if I would say optimal, probably Cursed Light Sword, 5-star support item, you know, pick what you want. And then 4-star physical, for her, I actually don't know what it would be. I would say Mako Knuckle, just to reduce the cooldown. Maybe see if you can get some more attack, enemy attack power down. That's a pretty solid buff on a steel, 20% down. That's pretty solid. So yeah, that is High Elf Archer, and those are the units coming with the Goblin Slayer collab. Now let's cover the equipment. Alright, so this should be the 3 equips that I have right here, should be the 3 equips that are on the banner if I'm not mistaken, so let's cover them. So this is the 5-star support item. It is the Robe of the Goddess. I'm pretty sure it's the robe of, what's her name, Priestess. So yeah, it's a 40-second cooldown at max CT, which is pretty solid. And then the skill, what it actually does is really good if you don't have Malim's Clothes and Goku's Jacket. It gives everyone AoE 30 art gauge up, and then for another 10 seconds the amount of HP recovered is increased by 50%, which is pretty solid. The only thing is that this doesn't increase damage or anything. It's kind of a more of a defensive type of buff to it, but still it's very, very solid. If you didn't get Goku's Jacket, this is probably the best thing right here. Or if you didn't get Malim's Clothes, this is also really good. Also, you know, multiple of these will be able to stack, you know, art gen, not like the buff right here, like the total HP buff, but if you are able to get multiple of these, save them, because do not fuse them into one another. If you're able to get 2 of these or something like that, save them, and you'll be able to use them on a lot of teams, and it would make you very, very happy. So make sure you guys definitely, this will be the equip that you want to pick up from the gacha, the equip summons, and make sure you pick this up because it's going to be very, very strong if you don't have Malim's Clothes and Goku's Jacket. So yeah, make sure you get these. Next is Fairy Archers, or Fairy Bow Hand Clothes, this right here is actually High Elf Archer stuff. I think there's only 3 equips for the gacha. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, you guys please tell me in the comment section. Tell me what equip I left out from the gacha. But I'm pretty sure I got them all right here because I have another one right after this. So this right here is pretty solid as well. Not as good as the other one that I just told you, but still, it's decent. So it maxed out, what this will do is increase skill CT speed 60% for all allies for 15 seconds. And then in addition, if the employer is a person, genie, or dragon, 20% up. So I guess if the user is a person or a human, a genie, which is a god? Yeah, genie is a god. Or a dragon, which, yeah, dragon is actually a race in Grand Summoners. You get 20% up. So instead of it being 60, I think everybody gets 80%, or it's just the user gets 80%, everybody else gets 60, but I think everyone gets 60 or 80% if the user is any of those, which is pretty solid. Skill CT speed has always been like a niche buff though, however, but still it could maybe be useful on some units, maybe on a certain team comp where everybody's skill gives art gauge or something. It could still be pretty solid in that. And also it's a 30-second cooldown max LB, pretty solid. Probably the weakest of the batch though for the equipment. Finally, we have Goblin Slayer's helmet. This is actually a really strong defense item. It's pretty good. So let me talk about what it does. So it maxed out for 10 seconds. You will increase, or everybody on your team will increase their critical resistance by 20%. So you're less likely to get critted, which is, I guess, good for arena. And then 30% damage reduced. That's actually really good. That's actually a really strong damage reduction at 30%. It's really good. So hey, I mean, definitely a very worthy pickup. It's actually pretty solid. It would have been even broken. It would be, how do I want to put this? Even be more broken if it was like a void status elements, like a better Deus Jade. It would be ridiculous. So yeah, it would have been absolutely absurd. 50-second cooldown on that max LB. It's a decent item. Definitely though, you definitely want the 5-star support item that I showed you earlier. You know, not High Elf Archers, Priestess's clothes. You want that because that's going to be ridiculous. Apart from that though, that's actually all of the equipment. I think there may be a 4-star item I'm missing from that because usually they have multiple 5-star items. And then, well, 3 5-stars and usually 1 4-star item most of the time. So, but I don't know what the other one is, and I don't know on this wiki if there is actually like a list of them because I actually had to go find those by myself. So yeah. So actually, wait, here it is. Here is yeah. So I actually did. Wow, I missed a lot actually. Good lord. So right here is the next thing. Goddess Officer's Wand. This is a 10-second, or wait, this is a 10, that's the evaluation, whoops, hold on a second. So here is the healing item. When the target becomes out of battle for 120 seconds, resurrect once for 50% XP. So if somebody is dead on the battlefield, you can use this and you will be able to resurrect them with 50% HP. So I guess that's good. Yeah, I guess that's pretty solid. So I guess what this does is you pop this, and then for 120 seconds you get like a re-raise, like kind of like, I guess, how do I put this? In Final Fantasy, this is a very common buff for some buffers. What this does is like a re-raise, like you put it on everybody on your team, and then for 120 seconds, if anybody dies, they will instantly come back to life. So that's probably what this is right here, which is pretty good. So you'll be able to do that once, and you'll be able to resurrect them with 50% HP. And this thing right here has a total of a 80-second cooldown. It's actually pretty solid for what it does, or 120 seconds, which is actually still pretty solid because it's only gonna last 120 seconds anyway. So yeah, it's actually pretty solid. The next thing right here is Goblin Slayer's Sword. I didn't even know this was an item, to be honest. I thought this was from the event. I thought, but maybe it's not. Maybe this is from the gacha too. This is at minimum CT 120-second cooldown, which seems like it may be a nuking equip or something, or an equip that buffs damage. 10,000% dark physical damage if you are a family member, which I guess if you're a human, if you're a human, the damage and break power is increased by 40% for 8 seconds. So I guess on the item itself, not your own damage and break power. Maybe it is your own damage and break power. If it is, then that's actually really good on breakers too. So you'll be able to increase your damage and break power by 40% for 8 seconds, which is very, very solid. I think this is from the event. I don't know if that's actually from the... Is that actually from the... Yeah, that is actually from the banner, because that's the banner right there. That's the gacha banner. Okay, so, yeah, that is the equipment right there. all the equipment for Goblin Slayer. Of course, you know, right here, the robe of the goddess, or high, but I almost said high of Archer. Priestess, this is what you definitely want. This right here is really top tier. Everything else is pretty solid too. I actually don't really agree with these evaluations though. I do not think this is like a 10 out of 10, or this is probably a 9, I would say, and this is probably like a 9 too. But yeah, so that actually is everything right there. So yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you all for coming out, man. Hopefully you guys are excited about this new crossover event that is coming to the game. I personally am hyped for it. Of course, you know, it depends on when it falls, because right here, let me just say, is that 6/6, maybe when this event comes out, but let me just say this, do not go crazy on it just yet. The week this banner goes out, do not go crazy, because it's very likely Vox will be coming a week after them, or something like that. So I would maybe hold off on the summons until maybe after, you know, a little bit after Vox comes out, because Vox will be released during this period. I'm gonna say that, and this is going to trap a lot of people and make a lot of people try to summon for this, because it's a crossover, it's a lot of hype and everything. But remember, if you were trying to go for Vox, you want to be careful, because this is definitely trying to tempt you to pull for Vox, to pull on this banner, or spend money on this banner, and then also spend money on Vox. They purposely did this, so keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for the video today, man. Thank you all for coming out, man. It's been your boy P, and I'm out, guys. Peace.